Gee, sure is boring around here. Did I ever finish the Ratchet and Clank marathon? Fuck. I really need to get to the finale ranking of all the characters for this. Let me just check to make sure the franchise won't have any sort of update before I do just that. A rumored 2029 release window for the PlayStation 6. I mean, granted, Insomniac has other projects under their belt now, like Wolverine and I'm sure Spider-Man 3. I should probably wait till the leak is official. Lazy. Oh, screw you! But I'm sure there has to be something out there that can scratch that itch I've been having. Might as well check out the old cringe graveyard. Surely that has something. Oh. Oh, wow. You're actually going to more places than this one spot? It's like we're finally affording to expand the world a bit. Though, knowing you, it's just probably going to be a new PNG. I'm ignoring you. Alright, let's see here. Earthbound / Mother. Hello, neighbor. Oh, hey, look at that. Someone dug up Mega Man. It was probably SMP. Well, that'll stay his Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah. This has to be the one. Star Fox Zero, developed by Nintendo and the masters of over-the-top action and sexy witches themselves, Platinum Games. I mean, what sexy witches? Was released, as of now, exclusively for the Wii U in April of 2016, following a 10-year-long hiatus after the controversial release that was Star Fox Command for the DS. Now, me personally, I never paid any attention to the franchise until recently. I did sample Star Fox Adventures and Assault a few times, but I never became a bona fide fan until a few weeks ago. Yes, I can officially say I got Startism. I can think of at least two things that caused that. I know Star Fox Zero is a very divisive one amongst the fanbase, but how is it in the eyes of a newcomer? Well, that's why I'm aiming to find out. So without further delay, the story. Alright, so we boot up the game, and it opens with a monologue from Fox McCloud explaining the status of his dad, how Pigma...
Pigma balls! God damn it, this happens every time!
Betrayed James and Peppy, how Fox got the team out of retirement, and hired Slippy Toad and Falco Lombardi to be the next two pilots, along with their robotic assistant Rob64, as well as knowing that Andros has amassed an army since his banishment to the planet Venom. You ever considered how easy it is for game characters to just go into retirement just to be dragged out? I mean, we got Banjo, and then Ratchet, and now Fox! God, it must suck to be the retirement government for games. Unless...
Investing in retirement funds was the best scheme I've ever had! Give me all the monies! Money, 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 money! Turn the camera off.
So, we are now thrust into the first level of Corneria, and... Wait a minute. Deja vu, but I feel like I've been here before. Wait... Yeah, if you're familiar with any other review of this game, then this game is basically another remake / reboot / reimagining of Star Fox 64 almost 5 years after the actual Star Fox 64 remake came out! Like my brother and Jesus Chrysler, Nintendo revisits Star Fox 64 about as much as Sega and Sonic Team revisit Screen Hill Zone! Huh. If I had a nickel for every Anthro Furry Space game franchise you reviewed and you made a Sonic reference, I have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that happened twice, right? I'm sending you to Radical Highway. Damn it, not again! But, yeah, while it is another Star Fox 64 in the same way Mario 64 on the DS is a reimagining, it does at least do a few things differently, like having a main story route instead of difficulty paths to determine the best possible ending. Either way, the game ends with Fox blowing the apeshit ape up, gets assisted by Ghost Dad, General Pepper offers Team Star Fox a position in the Corneria army, which they politely decline, and they take off to be on hiatus for the next 10 years. And that was the plot. Wow, when I heard this game went back to basics, I can now see what they mean by that. The story isn't terrible. It's certainly not the worst story in the franchise from what I've seen so far, but it's just Star Fox 64's story. Hell, a majority of the voice cast came from either the original Star Fox 64 or Star Fox 64 3D. Fox's VA Mike West voiced both him and James in 64. Slippy Toad and Catmon Rose VA Lisa Brown voiced both of them in 64. Mark Ludd and James Adam, who voiced Falco and Peppy, they lent their voices to the characters in 64 3D, along with David Frederick White, who also voiced Andross. I wish I could hear the voices, but for some bizarre fuck all reason, the voices can only be heard through the gamepad, and as of now, there's no way to record the Wii U gamepad outside of using my phone, and honestly, I'd rather get bone cancer. But honestly, the story is just okay. If you want to experience a different version of Star Fox 64, then I guess Zero accomplishes that. But if people weren't complaining about the story, it's more so about the gameplay. Gameplay of Star Fox Zero has us in the pilot seat of Fox McCloud from beginning to end. And the name of the game is Shoot, Dodge, Fly.
Do a barrel roll!
Alright, we did the thing. But by the way, this isn't a barrel roll, it's a fucking aileron roll! Get it right, you old hair! While the core gameplay of Zero is the standard R-Wing that people love to bet that they reject any other form of gameplay, what is this, the fucking Sonic fandom? We have the introduction of the Walker, first conceptualized and realized in the at-the-time canceled Star Fox 2 for the Super Nintendo. Honestly, the Walker is pretty decent. The only downside is that it uses some kind of tank controls like the first 3 original Resident Evil games on PS1. We also have the
Landmaster!
And later, it gets an upgrade that allows it to fly, which... what's the point of it? It controls decently, but what's the point of its existence? At least the Walker makes sense.
Personally, I prefer the air.
Oh yeah, there's also this gyro wing that was only ever used in 2 levels, and never again. Oh boy. Here comes my favorite part! Buckle your butts in your permafused sweaty gamer chairs, people! HK is about to give his unpopular opinion. I said go back to Radical Highway! Time to talk about the biggest point of contention when it comes to Star Fox Zero: motion controls. See, while it seems like it's just regular R-Wing gameplay, that's because on the gamepad we have the cockpit view and we use the gyro controls for more precision aiming. And that's what she said. I think I'll jump into Radical Highway myself after this. I always tend to hear how people often have to switch views from their TV to the gamepad, like their Gen Alpha with their multiple screens and low attention spans, when really, that's kind of blowing all of this out of proportion. So far, I only ever seen one other review talk about this, so I'm also bringing this up. When you press the minus button, you can switch between the R-Wing and cockpit views. You just gotta be fast with pressing the minus button to switch the R-Wing gameplay back to your screen. Otherwise, you'll be meeting James McCloud in no time. Look, man, try and do FNAF 2 on hard mode with all that bullshit, and then we'll talk. I am also glad that they gave the somersault and U-turn their own dedicated buttons, but Why not the aileron roll? I mean, Star Fox Adventures and Assault did it, and the only button that doesn't get any use is the L button, so why can't that be the dedicated button for it? One more thing I would like to bitch about is...
I'm a firing my laser!
the laser upgrades, specifically the hyper lasers. When you get hit by anything, you lose it. Is that ringing any bells? Well, it should, because this is the same goddamn bullshit from the original Castlevania The Adventures on the fucking Game Boy! You wanna know why I absolutely loathe fighting Star Wolf in one-on-one encounters? This is why! Hyper lasers my ass! Now, if there is one thing Star Fox is known for, it's the replay value. Whether it's optional / secret routes or collecting all the gold medals for unlockables like the Retro R-Wing or the Black R-Wing, both of which actually have some gameplay differences. The Retro R-Wing, while looking like the original SNES version, can't lock on, but the charge shot has a larger blast radius, while the Black R-Wing both deals and takes triple damage. How do you unlock them? By collecting all 70 gold medals. HK, for the love of Stanley's ghost, please don't tell me before you finish that sentence, Wade, there is an alternative way to unlock the Retro and Black R-Wings, and that is by having a Fox and Falco amiibo, which, thanks to Shane Midnight for lending me his Fox amiibo, I was able to get the Retro R-Wing. And as for the Falco amiibo, well, sadly I don't have a Falco amiibo on me, but surprisingly Falco isn't that expensive on eBay. Yeah. Remember when amiibo didn't cost the same amount as the game? Jesus Christ! Overall though, the gameplay of Star Fox Zero, to me at least, is pretty good. In fact, I go as far as to say that the motion controls are also pretty good. Keep in mind, this is coming from someone who absolutely sucks balls at Resident Evil 4 Remake on a controller, but feels like he's the second coming of John Wick in VR. In terms of visuals, Star Fox Zero looks amazing for a Wii U game, even 10 years later. Sure, most of the game is just Star Fox 64 but in HD, but you have to admit, this looks good for the Wii U. Especially given that by 2016, we had a lot of other releases like Dark Souls 3, Ratchet & Clank 016, Uncharted 4, and, of course, Dead by Daylight, as well as the rise of VR headsets like the Oculus Rift CV1, the HTC Vive, and the original PlayStation VR. Oh yeah, there was also the Absolute Dumpster Fire. That was No Man's Sky's initial release before that got absolutely dethroned by Security Breach or Cyberpunk. Video games, they either release fine or they have a whole story behind the scenes. But honestly, the game can look gorgeous when it wants to. Explosions look great, character models are some of the best, and Fox doesn't look like a Shiba Inu unlike in Assault. And I know most people don't like motion blur, but frankly, if you're going at these kinds of speeds, then I say motion blur, even a little bit, is welcome. All while the game, for the most part, maintains a consistent frame rate to boot. I know there are some areas that can dip below 60, but they're so rare that they're basically non-existent. As for OST, it's pretty great at delivering that grandiose feel of fighting through a space armada akin to Star Wars, and much like the plot, it also remixed music from Star Fox 64. While I don't think 64's OST is bad, I just wish Zero had more original music, especially considering one of the composers of the game was Ray Kondo, who did the music for the Bayonetta trilogy as well as Origins and Devil May Cry 4, as well as Kiki Kobayashi, who did the music for Smash 4 and Ultimate, Tekken, Ace Combat, and Final Fantasy VII Remake / Integrate, Ever Crisis, and Rebirth. So while Zero's OST is fine, the lack of original music is definitely apparent despite the talent behind the game's overall soundtrack. Which also can be said regarding the game's reuse of 64's plot.
Oh boy, time to reheat some leftovers.
Now, let's recap. I think the story is fine despite it being the third time Nintendo decided to remake Star Fox 64. The gameplay is honestly pretty good. Visually, it looks amazing, but the OST is lacking originality. So I say let's wrap this up with my final verdict. Overall, is Star Fox Zero a good game? Kinda. Is it a game I could recommend? Fucking no! To this day, almost 10 years later after Zero's initial release on the Wii U, this game still has not been ported to the Switch or even the Switch 2! I am the only one between me, SMP, and Shade Midnight who owns a Wii U, so fucking no, I couldn't recommend it! And I frankly don't know the current state of Wii U emulation right now. I mean, thankfully, a Wii U console is roughly $270 if you want to get a bundle with New Super Mario Bros. U plus Luigi U, Nintendo Land, or 3D World. And surprisingly, finding a physical copy on eBay isn't expensive, even with the Star Fox Guard bundle. I found one for $30, so unless you want to just buy a Wii U and homebrew it, then it's not that expensive to buy a Wii U and a physical copy. It's certainly a whole lot cheaper than getting 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM or current gen Xbox right now. So overall, Star Fox Zero gets my score of a 64 out of 100, or in more accurate terms, a 6 out of 10. But as always, I want to hear from you all. Did you play Star Fox Zero? What did you think of it? And is it a game you can recommend to a friend who actually owns a Wii U? Please, leave your answers and more down in the comment section below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and while you're here, consider subscribing and turn on the bell to be notified whenever I make a new video. As always, my social media links, along with my Twitch, are down below. I've been Hallmark Kid the Reviewer, and I will catch you all in the next review. Take care, everybody.